Can we just talk about Florida? Because we really haven't had a chance to do that. I was texting with a source in Florida, political source, who pointed out to me that this will be the first time since Reconstruction that Florida won't have any Democrats in statewide office. Period.
Pretty big storyline developing there. By the way, I got to point out that once we started digesting our food and digesting the day, we realized that on that day-long trip, we spoke to dozens of people up and down the coast of Florida, all in precincts, by the way, that voted for President Biden in 2020. But to our surprise, we did not run into a supporter of Ron DeSantis' Democratic opponent. That would be Charlie Crist.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Florida and Ron DeSantis' red wave victory down there that has Latino / Hispanic Democrats like Ana Navarro upset and pissed, okay, because she believes she is the queen of Latinos, I guess, right? She is the go-to person when it comes to knowing how Hispanic people or Latino people should and shouldn't vote, okay? And of course, she's fuming because Ron DeSantis, who she hates, won handily in Florida, including winning more of the Latino vote. So I want to go ahead and play this clip of Ana Navarro discussing what happened in Florida on CNN, and she's going to go into full election denial mode. Take a look.
And I want to tell you, though, because I want to talk, I've been dying to talk about Florida.
Yes.
And I think it's being completely misread. I think the narrative is all wrong.
Okay, so hold on. Let me just put a pause on. The narrative is Ron DeSantis is the king of Florida and has done what no one thought could be done. That's the narrative. Now correct it.
Which I told you yesterday was going to be the case.
Yes.
I told you he was going to win bigly. But listen, Ron DeSantis barely won in 2018 by 35,000 votes by the skin of his teeth against a black, progressive, little-known mayor from Tallahassee, Florida. Yesterday, he won by 20 percentage points. Why? Because he gamed the system. Because he turned Florida into an unlevel playing field. They changed election laws, making it harder to vote by mail. They paraded a bunch of people, black people, that they arrested for voting fraud, and paraded them in front of national media. He created an election police. He also was very good in responding to hurricanes and other tragedies. He also invested and laser focused on Miami-Dade. And in the meantime, turnout was 10 points lower than it was in 2018. In 2018, it was 63%. Yesterday in Florida, it was 53%. So that's not a red wave. Red wave is when people go out to the streets and vote. What you had is a depressed, deflated vote, Democratic vote. And who can blame them when you nominate a corpse? Yes, he won bigly, but he won against a corpse, a political corpse, and that's an insult to corpses. I apologize to cadavers everywhere.
I'm going to just put a pause because I know we will come back, I promise. Okay.
Yeah, talk about being in denial, right? Ana Navarro is in denial. She is pissed that Ron DeSantis won over the Latino vote, okay? Because she thinks she's the queen of Latinos. She thinks she knows it all, right? She speaks for all the Latino voters. They're all supposed to be Democrats, right? Which is basically what she is, okay? She's basically a Democrat. I don't know why she keeps trying to associate with the Republican Party, but hey, it is what it is. As we're taking a look at the map of what happened in Florida this year in 2022, and we can compare that to what happened in 2018 when Ron DeSantis was against Andrew Gillum. And as you can see here in 2018, these counties down here in South Florida, we're talking about Palm Beach County, Miami-Dade County. These counties were blue. Now, fast forward to 2022, Ron DeSantis flipped Palm Beach and Miami-Dade red. Okay, and he won pretty handily, especially in Miami-Dade. This is historic. Again, you can tell the difference in between the maps. Ron DeSantis made Florida a solid red state. I mean, give the guy credit where credit is due. I mean, he blew out Charlie Crist. Ana Navarro acts like people can't grow politically, that people don't necessarily agree with Ron DeSantis and his policies. It's not that. It's just that, oh, well, the Democrats just had a terrible candidate, which, I mean, admittedly, Charlie Crist, I never heard of the guy, right? Before this, he wasn't all that visible. I thought that Ron DeSantis was running against a woman for a long time. I forget her name, but yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, regardless, I think that this is more about approval of Ron DeSantis and the fact that people understand that Florida is where woke goes to die more so than it's about Charlie Crist. I don't think you could have put anybody up against Ron DeSantis in one. Okay, I just don't think so. Okay, Florida is leading the way. So as we can see here, let's take a look at some of the exit polls from this race versus some of the exit polls from the governor race back in 2018 versus Andrew Gillum, where Ron DeSantis got 44% of the Latino / Hispanic vote. They were 15% of the electorate back in 2018. Fast forward to today, Latinos are 21% of the electorate, is growing, and Ron DeSantis made huge gains, getting 58% of the Latino vote. So we're talking about a 14-point gain, okay, over 4 years. Apparently, Latinos really like Ron DeSantis, Anna Navarro. Have you think about that, right? Why you're trying to deny the legitimacy of the election? Again, it's funny how CNN doesn't call Anna Navarro an election denier for saying that Ron DeSantis gained the system, implying that the election wasn't fair, that he cheated. When the reality is that Florida did what a lot of these other states like, Arizona and Pennsylvania failed to do, which is to increase election integrity in their state. If anything, Florida, it seems, was more fair, right? They had a more fair election than what is going on out there in Arizona and Pennsylvania. And again, I think that Florida is a roadmap for what happens when you have cleaned up your election integrity laws, okay? Again, Arizona, Pennsylvania, you need some work, okay? You need some work, but hey, as long as Democrats are running those states, it's going to be hard to really clean things up over there. Hopefully, Carrie Lake can still pull it out, but we will see. So, with that being said, CNN, very hypocritical here, not accusing Anna Navarro of being a insurrectionist, right? Not calling her out for her attack on democracy, implying that somehow, some way, Ron DeSantis cheated or that the election was illegitimate, okay? The reality is that Hispanics just like Ron DeSantis, okay? They went out and voted for him more so than they did in 2018. That's the reality. You have to accept that. What I don't like about this reality is what we're seeing from black voters who, at this point, I'm just giving up on. There is no hope for black people, okay? There's just not. They only voted for Ron DeSantis at 13%, which essentially matches the national average that black people voted Republican. So again, I'm highly disappointed, man. One thing, again, I am very, very, very disappointed about is the black vote. I just don't think anything can change. I don't think there's nothing that can be done. If Ron DeSantis in this environment can't shift black people even just a little bit, there's nothing that can be done. Who cares about the black vote at this point? I'm so serious. Who cares? Our population's not growing. Latinos are growing. White people don't vote in a monolith. Why should the Democrats care about black people, and why should Republicans care about black people? Why? Why at all? There's no reason, because you're going to vote Democrat at a 90% clip anyways. So who cares? Who cares? Nobody. So again, if we keep voting like this, y'all Negroes can't keep complaining, because this is what you're voting for. You won't even go out and vote for the best governor in the country. That's how brainwashed black people are when it comes to voting Democrat. So again, I'm just done. I'm done with the so-called black vote. It's politically irrelevant outside of a few places, like, for example, Georgia, which is a red state, but you have a lot of black people by population in cities like Atlanta, or Pennsylvania, where you have Philadelphia, you have a large black population. Outside of places like that, okay, we're talking about like Detroit, Michigan, stuff like that. Like, the black vote is irrelevant, okay? It really is. And we're not going to become more relevant as long as we keep voting like this. But I will say, to the black men, though, 19% voted for DeSantis, which is progress, okay? That is progress. I will say, it's not black men that are not shifting. It is black women. Black women are brainwashed by Democrats. They will not stop voting Democrat no matter what, okay? But again, black men are shifting, so maybe there's some hope there. There's some hope there. So with that being said, what I really want to take a look at here And I think, again, this is why you saw the red wave down in Florida more so than other places, okay? And this is the model that Republicans need to follow. They need to follow Ron DeSantis' lead in regards to political strategy, because we saw a trend in Florida that kind of bucks the trend that we saw nationally. So when we're talking about gender by marital status and how people voted, for the most part, nationally, if you are married or a non-married man, you are more likely to vote Republican. What happened was that non-married women came out in droves and voted for Democrats. However, that's not what happened in Florida. In Florida, non-married women actually voted about 50-50. They voted 50% for Democrats and 49% for Republicans. So again, this trend did not happen in Florida. Ron DeSantis did very well with non-married women. Well, why is that? And I mentioned this in the last video I made. Well, the reason why is because Ron DeSantis was very politically savvy when it came to the abortion issue, okay? With Roe v. Wade being overturned, I didn't know that this was going to happen, right? I had no clue that young liberal women would be galvanized to go out and vote because of that. Again, I know they vote off of that. They would vote off of that as a single issue. I was correct about that. What I was wrong is how much they will vote, okay? I wasn't wrong that they would vote on it. They would. We all knew that would happen, but the amount that came out and voted based off of that is absolutely insane. But again, as you see in Florida here, that is unlike other states, for example, Pennsylvania, where Republicans lost, and Michigan, where Republicans lost, the abortion issue was only 24% of the electorate when we're talking about the most important issue, okay? And again, obviously, 80% of those people voted Democrat. But what happened is that people in Florida weren't as worried about abortion as they was the economy, inflation. Well, why is that? It's because DeSantis played the political game perfectly when it comes to this issue of abortion, not giving in to the pressure to, one, make this an actual issue, right? Something that we should be talking about. He avoided talking about it, and he avoided passing any legislation to restrict abortion access even more than the 15-week ban that was already on the books. Ron DeSantis just basically said, look, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to focus on everything else. I'm going to focus on the economy. I'm going to focus on how well Florida is doing. I'm going to focus on the culture war. But I'm not going to focus on abortion. And I think that is what nullified some of these young women coming out there and really voting on this thing the way they did in Pennsylvania and Michigan, is because Ron DeSantis did not make it an issue. He did not try to get in that back and forth with the Democrats on this issue. And that is a model that Republicans have to use moving forward, because these people do vote, and you don't want to galvanize them the way that they did in the midterms. That will ruin 2024. Ron DeSantis knew that, and that's why he played it safe on the issue and just decided, you know what, I'm going to focus on everything else and not that. And it did not affect him as much as it did in some of these other states and these other races. So with that being said, Ron DeSantis won because he's doing a great job of running his state, and he's also a political genius when it comes to strategy. Republican Party needs to take note. Ron DeSantis has the roadmap moving forward if we want to win. He really does. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.